Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to talk to you, and it's not a lecture, but I'm just going to talk to you. It's going to be conversational because when we first planned this, it was my vice president from CNG we are going to talk about it so that it's more interesting, it's interactive. But unfortunately, she couldn't come, and it is too late to ask somebody to take over. So we decided to go ahead, yeah? And to turn it to a PowerPoint presentation doesn't cut it. I think we just need to humanize the whole, because it's a real human experience for everybody. Okay, so let's start. I will start by just looking at the current outreach program that we have in CNG. And if you look at the slide back there, this is our service plan. We have plans in CNG that we tick off every year to make sure that we fulfill the Catholic social teachings and looking at the 10 principles. And I'm sure everybody here knows the 10 principles of Catholic social teachings. The first and the biggest one is the dignity of the human person. We all have an inherent dignity. No matter what we do, no matter who we are, we have that dignity because God created each one of us. So for that, we decided that service is the number one that we have to play on every year. Okay, so over here let's get the slide. Okay, it jumped. Yeah, so it's okay. So what we did was for this year, because of COVID, a lot of our activity were cut. So we tried, can we go back to the first one? Yes. So our service is, we did both overseas and in Singapore. And very importantly, we looked at the group of impoverished people that needed help. And so the Batam Outreach Program was a joint program between Catholic community plus the Anglican community. It was headed by a doctor who is passionate, Prof. Joseph Tambaya, and he formed a team that goes over every year, 3 times every year, to help the people in Batam. So we joined the Anglican community and we went over. So we had this wonderful Batam medical outreach program where we look at their health, we look at their disease state, and we look at how the children are living and coping in terms of welfare, well-being, and most importantly, their social, academic performance. And so we go there to tell them stories, to teach them how to read, and we follow through at each visit. Now, on these pictures, it shows all the nurses in CNG putting in a lot of effort to bring this to them. So for the elderly and the sick, what we do is we pack medicines for them that they require, and then we deliver the supplies to them. Besides that, we also support a Balai community, Indonesia Balai community, which is the most impoverished country of Indonesia we know, because a lot of people they only have shelters, they don't have mattresses, they don't have curtains, they don't have anything. And so we started, down there you put Batam, but it's supposed to be Balai, sorry for that. And we bring rice and all sorts of things to them. But that was not enough because we thought this is not teaching them how to fish. But they can't fish yet. Their situation is so bad that they just can't cross that barrier. So finally, we decided that we adopt a family, and we adopt like one member may want to adopt 7 families, another may want to adopt 5. We didn't force, we just put it up, and they said how many they want to adopt. So we will send money over to them so that the community who is supporting them as well buy all the requirements they need, the provisions, and then send it over and just give out to all the families. Next is our community, our archdiocese. What did we do for them? So this year, just before COVID started, we had an Our Lady of Lourdes experience by the Knights of Malta, and we went in 200 nurses to support this program. We could recruit nurses for this program because there was no restrictions. And so there you see myself with the Knights of Malta and all the nurses there. I can see Veronica, and Veronica is here. Hi, Veron. And so it is actually a very exciting event. And we look after the community that is sick or anyone who needs help. Like we have a group of autistic children who came, and they were seated, and then we were just next to them to make sure their needs are met. Next, we have caregiver training. So this is a very old program. It went on way before I joined CNG. I'll tell you when I joined later. But this program is an old tradition. Every year we continue because the caregivers are the people that need our love, need our support, need our care. Caring for them will help them to go back and give their best to the families that they look after, because all of us go to work and the whole home, our home, is left in their charge. So we need to help them along. So we go, we do, in a year, we do every 6 monthly. So throughout the 6 months, we'll run courses, different courses for them. And this here, you see my co-chair, my vice president, Janet Chong in white, and they're all our Filipino caregivers. And they look very pretty, right? Very, very, very wonderful group of people. And so we teach them psychological wellness. We teach them about pediatric care, how you feed a baby, how you bathe a baby, in case they need to look after babies in their homes. And then we look after care for the elderly. We do breast care with them. We do food and nutrition. We do also specific illness, which are common in Singapore, like some aspects of psychosis, mental wellness, to help them along so that they can interact with the elderly who are there's a bit of dementia and how they want to talk to them. So these are taught to these girls. And they love it because we also have a hands-on program to back this. They are then posted after the course to Assisi Home, Hospice, to do the practicum under the guidance of the educators in Assisi Home. And so they will get 2 certs for this course, and they say when they go back home, they are in demand. Their country wants them to work. So then we have, in those times when I've joined, we had free medical clinics in our churches. So Toa Payoh Christ the King. Risen Christ. You see, I forgot what church is that. Okay, so there you see Susan and her group of girls who go and support the doctors in this free clinic. And they come together actually every weekend. So they really burn their weekends. So that is so much for our current activities. Later, I'll tell you about our past activities, which you can then see how we support it through and plan our activities to make it real for our nurses who are in the guild. Okay, so with that, I will leave our activity, just leave it on. I'll leave these activities, but I'll leave the slide up there until I shift, yeah? So CNG this year celebrates our 50th anniversary. We've been there a long time, but our history goes way back to before 1944, when the first priests, the Catholic community of priests and religious came to Singapore to evangelize. So I will take you through that in a while, but I will tell you now that currently in our guild, we have about 250 members, full members, but not counting all the other affiliate members that we have in our the channel of our work. Yeah, so we branch out. Like, for example, we are members. Veronica is a member, so she is a council member. I am president. Janet is my vice president. I have Kathleen Poon as a secretary, and Sumati as our treasurer. So the thing is that we function, but in every hospital, we have a group of affiliate members that will come on and participate in programs. When they get the passion of it, they come in and join the main com. So that's how we draw them in. Okay, our recruitment efforts never stops. Why? Because our government keep building new hospitals, even though we got not enough nurses or doctors. So it is quite an exciting and challenging piece of work. So we today are trying to increase our affiliate member groups, and we recruit from our registered nurses and the enrolled nurses as well. We don't separate them as you are registered nurses, you're enrolled nurses, we are all nurses. Okay, so where do we recruit them from? From our Nanyang Polytechnic, where we train a full 3-year program, where we train nurses to become registered nurses. I mean, young ladies, after they pass their O-levels. Then Ngee Ann Poly is another place where we train young girls or boys today. Now we have boys in nursing as well. I forgot. These are the intake that will become our enrolled nurses. So they will be pupil assistant nurse, then assistant nurse. That's what we call them when they work, but on their certificate, they are enrolled nurses. And then today, we have improved. We have Alice Lee School of Nursing, National University of Singapore, which is run by my wonderful tutor and my very good friend, Miss Emily Ang. And she is also the chief nurse of the whole network that is inclusive of NUH and not Kutipat, Ng Teng Cheong, what's his name? Ng Teng Fong, the whole entire group with Alexandra Hospital. So this group of nurses are challenging now. They will start asking questions. They want to know more. They want to know how they meet that spiritual gap in being a nurse, and they're made to do assist doctor for abortion. Then what do they do? I was in that trap long time ago. But it's not about me so much, but it's more about our nurses, so I won't go there for now. In 1948, I will just go to the whiteboard now, sorry. In 1944, the Catholic settlement in Bahai Peninsula, Malaysia was started. Now, I took this from our church. We have so much history, so I say I borrow. It was like, I got inspired, I said, I go around and track. Then in 1945, Father Jean-Marie Bruvel became the Bishop of Malaya. And then during that period, in Asia, China, there was a big civil war. You remember the Boxers' rebellion? Yeah, so we have a lot of Kung Fu pictures, right, with the Boxer Rebellion and how these people fought the imperialists in China. Actually, in Singapore and in Southeast Asia, where we have Chinese community, a lot of them take money and send home to support the Boxers Rebellion. Yeah, so the Japanese hated us. That's why they want to kill a lot of Chinese. Okay, so in 1947, Father Albert Fortier started CNG in Malaya, Kedah. Now, why did he do that? Because the nurse community is just growing, and they may stay in Pahang, but they are posted to Terengganu after they passed out. They cannot choose, because it's for the community. We cannot allow them to choose where they want to work. Even in Singapore, you are posted and you go. Then later, when you passed out already, then because as student nurses, you need to go to wherever you can get experience, right? So you rotate. Then when you pass out, you can select. But then we will still say, okay, no, cannot. You must go somewhere else. In Singapore, no problem. In Malaysia, terrible. You have a person from family in Johor posted to Penang. And so they're far away. We didn't have MRT then. We didn't, you know what I mean? I don't think there were any air travel at that point. So they were very, very sad. They were very distraught. They were very emotionally disturbed. And he saw it. He saw that nurses need help so that they can help the sick and the dying. So he started this guild, which they called the Nurses Guild. And this gave the nurses more spirit, now that you are okay, you can say, oh, I want to help others. If you're not okay, you can't. You become landlocked. You know, like when you go on an airplane and it says, okay, when the lights come on and the oxygen mask drop, please put it on to yourself, then help the next person. Otherwise, you will be suffocating and dropping dead, right? So he did that, and he's brilliant, you know. So also in 1947, our Cathedral of Good Shepherd opened. In 1949, Imperial China, sadly, Imperial China not so good also, but then it became communist China. And I remember Our Lady said, Our Lady of Fatima said that if we don't consecrate Russia to her, then Russia will spread all the evil to all over the world. So China fell. In 1951, Father Albert Fortier moved to CNG, was posted to Singapore. And so he formed CNG Singapore. Because even though we're small, in those days, if we are living near Punggol, then we have to go to Toa Payoh Hospital. It's quite impossible. Because the people, you have to live in hostels. You cannot go home. Transport was bad. You know, the Teh Koyat bus company cannot support this type of travel every day because it's hot, it's packed and crowded, and it's not safe. So it was formed in 1951. In 1955, Father Michael Alcomandi became the Archbishop of Malacca and Singapore. And from then, we grew. And the Catholic Nurses Guild became very strong in their members. We have members who will drop everything that they're doing to volunteer, to be involved in activities so that they can experience, they can feel, you know, that awesome feeling that when you are helping someone else, it's not that, oh, you know, we can do it, but we don't know we can do it, but we do it, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, so finally, that in 1970, so that's many years later, for practicality's sake. You remember Singapore broke away from Malaysia, right, politically? So now CNG had to break away from our Malaysian counterparts. So in 1970, we formed our very own first executive council. And it was amazing from that point how we grew. Through the years, I didn't know the first two presidents of CNG then, but their spirit, their spirituality lives on in CNG even today. They started prayers for themselves, for the community, for the church, and they started helping in church communities. We are all very sad in CNG because this period, our church don't have any more, feast day celebration, mass for the sick, everything is cut back. So later I will share with you some of this activity that we used to do. After that came a whole battery of presidents. They are all nursing educators, every single one. And they are all from the School of Nursing, Singapore General Hospital. I was a student there, and I remember Miss Teresa Boon every day telling me, hello, you want to join? I don't want. I'm a bit dyslexic, I think. I was not diagnosed that. But, when there's too many things on my plate, I get very flustered. So I just want to finish my studies and get on in life. Okay, so in 2015, I took over from Dr. Teresa Cheong, the president of CNG then, who had served from 2003 to 2015. Wow. She was president for a super long time. Amazing. Can we go to the CNG spiritual directors and presidents slide? The other one, another one. Yeah. So this set of slides will show you who were appointed our spiritual director and then the presidents. So you see Father Fortier, he was there since 1949 to 58. Then Father Johnson Fernandez, why is that S? Is a J, never mind. 1958 to 57. Father Joachim Kang in 1975 and 1980. Father Vincent Chi from 1980 to 1981. And then again, Father Johnson Fernandez was instituted by Archbishop and his group of priests to be our SD again in 1981 to date. Okay, you can see that all these spiritual directors have definitely done so much for us, and we want to thank them so much. That's why we want to flash this. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we can do now. And so this is our list of presidents. Moving on to our presidents, I don't know who is Mrs. Pennyfather, but I thank God for her because she left a lot of her legacy behind. And so too to Miss De Cruz. Miss Teresa Boon, as you have heard, was my tutor. And she led for 3 years. Then she passed to Miss Angela Yip, who is also my tutor. She led from 73 to 1979. Then Miss Janet Chan, 79 to 2003. Dr. Teresa Chong, I'm sorry, she's got her master's already and her doctorate in 2003 to 2015. And then myself, 2015 to date. Yeah, so I have been running for 3 terms, and it's about time to step down because too long. Yeah, it's too long because you need to give others the opportunity to show their skill and to develop the group further because you're already on that track, right? And you cannot see anymore, and you need to step back so that somebody can take on and the group can grow. Yeah. So after this, I'm just going to talk a little bit of the spiritual development of a nurse in CNG. I'm going to use myself because I cannot talk for others. They can only talk for themselves. And because my dear Vice President cannot be here with me so we can talk about our spiritual development, I will just talk about my growth in CNG. Okay, so I'm a convert. I converted when I was in primary 4, I think, when my entire family decided to become Catholics. Do you know at that point of time, in those years, to be a Catholic is the in thing, you know. So we were I was feeling, my brother and I, my youngest brother and I, we were feeling so cool, you know, to be Catholic, you know. So I remembered when one of my aunt passed away and she was a Catholic, and when we went up to receive the body of our Lord, and it was like, I mean, at that point of time, I'm a bit all over the place, and it was not, wow, I'm going to receive Jesus right now. It was like, hey, cool, man, we are in the in crowd. Whoa, I tell you, that was terrible. My spirituality was practically zero. And thinking back, it's quite embarrassing. Because it was like, hey, so fun, man, everybody looking at us, we are Catholic, man, hey, come on. No sense of wanting to evangelize, nothing. Just want to show, you know, that we are in the in crowd. A little bit on how I studied the Catholic faith. In those days, they were so hardworking. They sent nuns to our homes to evangelize to us, and they'll teach us. You know what they taught me? The Baltimore Catechism. Can anyone of you here remember what's Baltimore Catechism? Who made me? God made me. Why do God made me? God made me to know Him, to love Him, and to serve Him, and to be happy with Him in the next. That's Baltimore Catechism. And I've never forgotten that, because it was drilled into me, and every time she comes once a week. I have to recite that. Yeah, so that's the beginning. Okay, so it was a tough time as a student. I was very secular. I attend church on Sundays to fulfill an obligation, and that's about it. There's no, okay, I hear that. I'm going to speed up, okay? So in CNG, we were cohesive, vibrant, and did things together, all kinds of things I went through with you. And the teamwork was part of our lives. This means we had a sense of belonging and togetherness. This gives us solidarity. Our teamwork, I'm going to use this as a description of our teamwork. Our teamwork then was an interwoven basket where each of us give our best, and we weave a basket where we can put our sacrifices, our struggles, our sorrows, our joy, our love, and the service we've given to community, to our archdiocese, to God. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. When I first joined, this was what I saw, and this was why I wanted to join. And I think each member have added on to this basket. For today, it's a very big basket. I don't think I can lift that up anymore. It grew bigger, and it got better. Yet, on my own, it was very tough. It's very hard to be a very committed Catholic, to be fervent, because I have to maintain a consistent prayer life. I had to work, and we work day shifts, afternoon shift, which finish at 9 p.m., and night shift. And on night shift, we only have 2 RNs to run a ward, whether it be 38 patients or 28 patients, only 2. And if it's 28, we don't have help, only 2 RNs, and each of us will care for 18 patients. In the bigger wards, 35, 38 better, they will have an enrolled nurse helping them with the INOs and all that. But in our small ward, we do everything. But it was fun. We managed to do it, but it was tiring. So when it comes to Sunday and your morning duty, then you don't feel like going to church. And I've skipped many Mass. God forgive me. I make so much excuses when it was not real excuses as well. So I cheated, I tell lies, I do all kinds of things. I go for confession. Father said, you told me before. I say, yeah, but again, because now it has become a set pattern, you can't change the mold. So I struggle with that. Then came a time when I went with the then president, Dr. Teresa Cheong, to a Caritas event, leader formation thingy. So there I learned about being faithful. We were in the same bedroom, so hotel room. So she took one bed, I took one bed. And so after I came out for after she had a bath, she came out and she said, I'll say my prayers. So I said, oh, wonderful, wow, okay. So I went to have my shower. When I came out, my poor president had fallen asleep with a rosary in her hand. But her face was so peaceful, so beautiful. And I felt, people have told me we cannot leave prayer to the last thing of the day, but although this will always happen, not too good. But then I was thinking that, I was literally thinking that, not so good. Then immediately another thought came into my mind that this is a sign of faithfulness to me. Even when you're tired, you struggle to say, even if it's a decade or 2 or 3, the Lord accepts. So I was like going, wow, okay, so this is the face of faithfulness. I have never forgotten that. That's why I want to talk about it here. She set an example on how I can and must persist in my prayer life. And I must say today, I pray the rosary every day, no matter what time I hit home. Now with the SG Singapore, I'll hit home around 11. And by the time I finish bathing, because I have a bathtub, I have to wash the tub. I don't depend on my maid, and make sure the floor is all dry and all that. By the time I come out, I will pray around 12. By the time I fall asleep, it will be around almost 2. And then the next morning, I get up and come again. And the Lord gave me enough strength, enough energy to run around and give a talk. I hope I'm not boring you. So I continue that walk with Christ. And every time I feel weakened, in fact, 2 days ago, I was so tired, I said, I don't know whether I can do this. And then the next morning, I wake up invigorated. He always pulled me out of the pit, brush me clean of the dirt, and whisper, walk on. A kind of pilgrim's progress, if you can recall how the March sisters played at home when their dad is at war and the mother is busy with all the other stuff. It is a game for them. If you have read Louisa May Alcott's Little Women, you will see our lives are also a pilgrim's progress. In CNG, we prayed because one of the things, number one key element is prayer life. So we prayed. We prayed the CNG prayer at the end of every meeting. And so it reminds us that when life gets tough, we don't need to give up. We just need to hold on and depend on the Lord, and He will take us through. We don't need to fight. So that's why we are all still here. It's a very simple prayer, and it moves us to call on God every time we feel so disabled. We feel like we are the casualty instead of the people helping. Dr. Teresa Cheong taught me how to persevere in my prayer life. Even Jesus did this. He would keep going up the mountain because he loved going up the mountain, because he loved coming together in communion with his Father. And that's why he always sneaked away from his disciples who made a lot of noise, and he goes up and be alone. He was never alone. He was always with the Father and the Spirit. So that's what prayer life is for me. And for all of us here, I hope that we never give up on our prayer life, because He really keeps us going on track. We will begin to see that God knows our temperament, and God modifies that temperament, not against our will, but working with us along our will and slowly shift us. He never forces. And so that is my experience today. I can be so tired and I'm dying, I can't even begin the first decade, but I will still begin. And if I fall asleep, then so be it. Then the next day I try to do better. Okay, other programs supporting our Archdiocese. We have done Parish Community Day when Christ the King called for Lantern Festival for the community so that the Chinese in our community can enjoy Lantern Festival. We went to support and did a big walk in the Ang Mo Kio gardens. And so we were all there getting mosquito bites and all that. But we had fun. The children and the parents were all laughing. Church building fun. We went to walk and run for our Church of Transfiguration to raise funds, and then other churches as well, and then volunteer in the free medical clinic in church, that one I showed you already, and then community walk for the handicapped, humanitarian fair. Every year we're there to support, and every year the Lord bless. The only trouble we had is stomach ache, menstrual cramps, a bit of headache. Can I have Hong Yu? So I tell the doctors today, nothing works for us. We only need the X oil. Then we feel better. Yeah. So then Our Lady of Lourdes experience twice already is here. And then the Asia Pacific Summer Camp in 2017. It was a para-Olympian event for youth, organized by the Knights of Malta. Again, my wonderful friend, Sister Susan, she took it on, and it was amazing. The joy they experienced there with all these handicapped people who wants to be dream to be Olympians, and they were Olympians in that camp. And then we also have we supported of course the caregiver cause, which now should I announce? Better not. But you all will be surprised, okay, when they announce later. I cannot, not nice, right? Okay, so today, going to ACMI is a bit out of the way because in Lorong 7, Toa Payoh, right? In the past, it was more central, but we still had fun. Yeah, but for me as president, I have extra work to do. I have to go down there to sign all the certificates every year. So twice, I make 2 extra trips to sign the certificates. Or sometimes the ACMI staff, my good friend, Miss Teresa's son, she will come down halfway and meet me, and then I will sign the certificates. What my faith means to me, and I will close because it's almost time's up. I realize faith is a choice, that one can choose to believe or not to believe, whatever that comes across our path. It's a journey I must take for myself and learn to respect other beliefs as well. Faith is about finding comfort and love. It's a way of life and a path to follow, and my journey is far from over. Faith is choosing to serve even if it's difficult. In the past, in 2017, CNG represented the 20th World International Catholic Committee of Nurses in Kuching, Sarawak, and we had a big, wonderful congress there. Mrs. Cheong used to be representing this CCM committee, and today our sister Catherine Paul from Kandang Kerbau Hospital represents CNG Singapore in CCM as a research collaborator and advisor on the board. So we also get involved with the internationals. So other times we move on, so I can move on now, and I think I've shared to you a lot. Oh, one more, last one. Bringing joy to migrants who are helpers in our home is very important to us. So every month or every 3 months, we'll hold jumble sales, not to make money, but I will go to scout for nice branded items that the people wants to throw away and then buy it. Then we sell it to our caregiver cause, the participants. So they buy it and they give it as Christmas presents. And we continue with that because we realize it gives them a sense of dignity that I can give good stuff. And sometimes I can get a Louis Vuitton handbag, which is in super good condition, and they don't want to sell it otherwise. And then I'll just buy it. Then they'll sell me like, okay, I think I'll sell this $15, $20. They don't want to make something out of it. They just want to get rid of it. So the thing is that then when we sell it at $5. We sell it at $2. The money that we put out is a donation back. Yeah. So this is what we do in CNG. We also went to China to do CNG outreach program for Quito water project, and we provide for after the well was built, to provide clean water for the village. We donated $1,000 every year, to upkeep that project, because other money is coming from other places as well. Today, because we don't meet anymore, we have virtual prayer program. So we pray the rosary virtually with our community out in the hospitals in Singapore. And I one day was talking to Miss Janet Chong, my VP. She's fantastic. I told her, how I wish we can reignite this prayer thing. Next minute, she come back to me, okay lah, Father Johnson said we can do a virtual rosary prayer program. I said, oh, okay, you've done all the work, very good. So it's to her credit, she did a lot of work. But I love it, is that how she picked up the idea and she did something about it without me telling her, hey, start it, you know. Yeah, so that's how CNG functions. I think I just want to tell you this. Currently, the world is struggling with the ravages of COVID-19. To reawaken and cheer the hearts of our young nurses and even our caregivers and even our employers, our citizens in Singapore, we would like to prepare a Thanksgiving Mass, which will come up soon. The churches haven't told me the dates that they can do it, to remind all that our God continues to walk with us. And sometimes, like in the footprint, I think